The emergency bay of the Celestial Mercy hummed with the low thrum of engines as Dr. Celine reviewed her latest patient's chart. A juvenile krell, a species known across 6 star systems for their razor-sharp fangs and territorial aggression, had been brought aboard after a skirmish near the outer colonies. The cub, designated as Corin in the medical logs, was barely 3 solar cycles old, but already possessed the predatory instincts that made adult krells apex hunters on their homeworld. The other medical staff had refused to enter the containment room. Even Nurse Vextel, a stoic Zenthari with armor-plated skin, had backed away when Corin's yellow eyes had tracked his movement through the observation window. But Dr. Celine had seen something else in those eyes, not just fear, but pain. "I'll handle this one," she said quietly, securing her medical kit. Commander Thross, the ship's Drachnian security chief, stepped forward. "Doctor, that creature has already injured 2 handlers. Its species doesn't respond to sedatives the way others do. Protocol suggests we wait until—" "Protocol suggests a lot of things," Celine interrupted gently, her brown eyes meeting his crimson ones. "But that cub is terrified and hurt. Waiting won't help either condition." She entered the containment room before anyone could protest further. Corin was huddled in the far corner, his silver-black fur matted with dried blood. His ears, pointed and tufted, lay flat against his skull, and his tail, normally used for balance during hunts, was wrapped tightly around his trembling body. When the door hissed shut behind Celine, his lips peeled back, revealing rows of needle-sharp teeth stained crimson. A low growl rumbled from his chest. "Easy," Celine whispered, crouching low to make herself less threatening. She placed her medical kit on the floor and slid it to the side, showing her empty hands. "I'm not here to hurt you, Corin. I'm here to help." The cub's growl intensified. His haunches tensed. Celine understood predator body language well enough to know what came next, but she didn't retreat. Instead, she slowly reached into her pocket and withdrew a small protein cube. Standard emergency rations, but ones she'd learned most carnivorous species found palatable. She tossed it gently toward Corin. The cub's eyes tracked the cube's arc, but he didn't move to eat it. His gaze snapped back to Celine, pupils dilated with adrenaline and fear. She could see the wound now, a deep gash along his right flank where shrapnel had torn through fur and flesh. Infection had already begun to set in, the tissue around the wound inflamed and oozing. "That looks painful," she said softly, inching forward. "Let me—" Corin struck. The attack was pure instinct driven by pain and terror. He launched himself across the 3 meters, separating them faster than human eyes could track. Celine managed to raise her arm defensively, but Corin's jaws clamped down on her forearm with the crushing force that had evolved to crack the carapaces of his homeworld's prey. Pain exploded up her arm. She felt teeth puncture through her medical jacket, through skin, grinding against bone. Blood welled hot and fast, but Celine didn't scream. She didn't strike back or try to throw Corin off. Instead, through gritted teeth, she whispered, "It's okay. It's okay, little one. You're scared. I understand." Corin's jaws remained locked, but confusion flickered in his eyes. Prey fought back. Prey struggled. This was wrong. "I know you're in pain," Celine continued, her voice steady despite the agony radiating from her arm. "I know you don't trust anyone right now, but I promise I'm going to help you." Slowly, impossibly, Corin's grip loosened. He released her arm and stumbled backward, his growl now uncertain, almost questioning. He stared at the blood dripping from his muzzle, her blood, and something in his posture changed. Celine cradled her wounded arm against her chest, but she didn't leave. She didn't call for security. Instead, she reached for her medical kit with her uninjured hand. "Your teeth," she said quietly, noting the way Corin kept working his jaw uncomfortably. "You've got debris stuck between them. Probably from the explosion. That's got to hurt almost as much as your wound." She pulled out a small irrigation tool and a sterile cloth. "May I?" Outside the containment room, Commander Thross watched in stunned silence through the observation window. Is she actually—" "She's asking permission," Nurse Vextel breathed, "from a predator that just attacked her." Corin tilted his head, studying this strange creature that bled but didn't flee, that hurt but still offered help. Slowly, hesitantly, he took a step forward. Celine remained motionless, letting him approach on his own terms. When Corin sat before her, his yellow eyes level with hers, she slowly raised the irrigation tool. "This might feel weird, but it won't hurt," she promised. For the next 5 minutes, Dr. Celine carefully cleaned Corin's teeth, flushing out fragments of metal and debris lodged in his gums. The cub flinched occasionally but never pulled away. She worked with gentle precision even as blood from her own wound soaked through her jacket sleeve. "There," she said finally, checking his teeth one last time. "Much better, isn't it?" Corin experimentally worked his jaw, then let out a soft chirp, a sound Krell cubs made when comfortable. He pressed his forehead against Celine's shoulder briefly, a gesture of trust among his kind. Only then did Celine address her own injuries. She pulled out antiseptic and bandages with her good hand, working awkwardly to clean the puncture wounds. Corin watched intently, and when she struggled to wrap the bandage one-handed, he gently took the cloth's end in his teeth, holding it steady while she secured it. "Thank you," she whispered, and meant it. With her arm bandaged, Celine turned her attention to Corin's infected wound. This time the cub didn't resist. He lay on his side, allowing her to clean, disinfect, and seal the gash with biofoam. She administered antibiotics and pain medication, her touch as gentle as if he were made of glass. When Commander Thross finally entered the room an hour later, he found them both resting against the wall, the human doctor with her bandaged arm, and the predator cub with his head in her lap purring. "How?" was all Thross could manage. Celine smiled tiredly, her hand gently stroking Corin's ears. "He wasn't a monster, Commander. He was just a scared child. Sometimes that's all anyone needs to remember." The story of Dr. Celine and Corin spread throughout the fleet within days. Humans, other species whispered, didn't just survive the galaxy's dangers, they saw past them. They found compassion where others saw only threats. They chose kindness when fear would have been justified. That, more than any weapon or warship, was what made humanity truly formidable among the stars.